Dorothy. We are here today. We are doing our Mira Nature Journal. Today we are going to be working on our envelopes. So I need to pull them out of the centers. Pull them out. Oh, make sure I put my little inserts in, and I'm just going to set them to the side. One of my envelopes I've already pulled out. So let me see. Yeah, that's out of here. Okay, let me pull my other one out. And so we've got our envelope. I need to put the inserts back in. More gorgeous little inserts. And there should be one in here that goes in here. And our journals are moving along just awesome. I'm so excited. I want to get the envelopes done because then we start embellishing. Once we're done embellishing, we will build our covers and we will bind. And girls, boys, ladies, gentlemen, we will be finished. So these are our tea-dyed envelopes. And we're going to do these now. We'll do one at a time. And again, I made my tissue paper. I have not even trimmed this one out yet because I was trying to get everything ready. And again, I will link the video for how to make your own DIY tissue paper. I had a video before. It was a really bad video. It was the very first one. You know, some of you guys that's been with me from the beginning, you remember that first one was not very good. Well, I mean, not that I'm great now. I'm not saying that by any means, so please nobody think that. I'm just a little better. I've come a long way from where I began, I guess. Which is the point. If you're not growing, then you need to stop and rethink about what you're at, where you're at, and what you're doing. Okay, so let me put this out of the way. So my 3 tissue sheets, and again, I made these, and I want all of my envelopes, they're not going to look the same because, you know, I'm going to change them up, but I'm going to use the same sheet. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one. The very first one, I want to do the whole entire envelope. So turn it over. Let me grab my Modge Podge. And again, this is our homemade Modge Podge. This is a matte Modge Podge. And I've got my brush. So I'm going to just sort of stir my Modge Podge up a little bit. And this is our DIY Modge Podge. I'll link a video to it. And again, I'm using this old glass mat because I don't want to get glue everywhere, and I am messy when I Modge Podge. And I want this whole entire envelope Modge Podge, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it all down, or put glue all over it, and hopefully you guys can see. And I will start with this one, and hopefully by the time we get back to this one, it will be dry. If it is not, then I'll pause the video and I will come back when they're completely dry. And I don't want to do, you know, 2 parts. I would like to just do the one part. And like sometimes they get the hard pieces in it. I don't like that. Okay. Almost got the base coat down. And again, I don't do this any rhyme or reason. The only thing I can suggest is make sure you don't get it on there extremely heavy, because if you get it on there really heavy, you will tear your tissue paper. Now I will tell you that the tissue paper I'm using, again, if you watched the DIY video, because it's actually me making that, is from Hobby Lobby. It is a thicker tissue paper, so it's not as bad as some of the like thinner tissue papers that you deal with. I'm just trying to keep myself from sticking, especially since I have 3 things to do, so I'm trying to sort of keep myself back down some. Okay. Put a little of this Modge Podge on here. Yeah, try to do it. It's already starting to get somewhat dry, but not horribly dry. And then this one, since I'm doing all of it, okay, then I'm going to grab my bone folder. Again, if you don't have a bone folder, use a ruler, your scissor handle, you know, anything you can get a hold of. See, and I tore it. So even the heavy duty stuff you have to go easy with. And welcome to the life of tissue paper. Well, it's because I've got glue or something on my bone folder, so it's grabbed it and tore it. It's okay, we'll fix it. You will never even know it was there. So I'm just gonna pull it back out. Grab a little bit of my Modge Podge. It's already starting to disappear. You won't even know it's there by the time we get done. I promise. So let me look this up. Yeah, it's adhered pretty good on the back. Okay, so now I'm going to do, like I said, a light coat. Before I do that, I'm going to sort of hold this up in the air now because I did glue where I tried to fix that little spot. I'm just going to trim, and it doesn't have to be exact. I'm just going to trim sort of close. And all of these scraps I can keep to collage with. Or, you know, to use, you know, wherever, on whatever I want to use it on. So I'm just going to trim this up really fast. I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm really quiet now. Okay. So now I'm going to grab my Modge Podge. Now I know, you know, the area. I'm not gluing a whole bunch of area that I don't need. And I'm just going to Modge Podge over the top of it. Now this tissue paper, because it is a little thicker, it doesn't, it doesn't want to do that really see-through as much as like a standard tissue paper would be, which is why, you know, I use the text in the background. If you, well, the text is why, but it does show through, but there's nothing underneath to show through. I didn't really put anything on there. So now I'm coating it. And this is just sort of going to make it a little more translucent. If you have a thinner paper, you can actually stamp underneath. You know, if you don't have the text, you know, you can take your envelope and either make it out of an old book page, or, you know, you can Modge Podge your book page down on top of it, and then put your tissue paper on top of it. And when you do, then that, you know, that text is going to come through. If you want that text and you don't have access to, you know, the text tissue paper, like from Hobby Lobby or whatever. And I always check my little corners because this one's starting to come a little loose. So, and again, I'm just going to Modge Podge and get this sort of, get it down. And we're going to do all 3 of them this way. Okay, I think that does it. Let me set this to the side to dry while we're doing the other 2. Okay, grab my baby wipe before we start the next one, sort of wipe up. Okay, so the next one. The next one, I think, let's see what we have on here and what we want to use. I think I want to do this little, maybe this corner right here. So I'm just gonna tear through here. And I'm not gonna worry about if, you know, I tear something or whatever. I just don't want to get my salamander there because I love that little salamander guy. Okay. So let's start with this one. Let's see, my fold is right here. So, and I don't want, a straight edge. I sort of want that torn, tattered look. So I think I will put that right there, and then maybe come up and put something right in here, because we want something besides this on the back. Let me put that right there. Okay, that works perfectly. And then let's see what else we have here. Let's see, this is going to be our bottom. It's going to fold up. So how about we do our little frog on the flap? And again, you know, all this tear off I'm not really wasting, because, let me turn across here because I want to keep my little snail. Okay, so maybe, let's see. This will fold up. So we'll do this way. Right like that, maybe. Well, no, let's maybe over here, sort of off to the side a little. Like that. This will be here, so maybe if we tear a little snail over here and sort of have him right here at our flap. Let's pull this up a little bit, maybe right like that. Have him right in here. Yeah, we'll curve him up. Have him right. Ooh, maybe going down one side, and we can sort of do a trail there. Let's sort of round this off here. And again, you know, guys, I'm just, you know me, I'm just ripping and tearing and not even paying attention. So I will, like that, because that's going to fold down, that's going to fold up. And that's one thing to remember when you do your envelopes. Like with the one I just did, I did it everywhere, so I wasn't really worried if it flipped upside down or backwards. I didn't care about that. You know, when you're doing it like this, it looks more awkward if something's upside down. You know, if the whole thing's done, then it doesn't really look, you know. And these are sort of randomly placed in different directions, so, you know, it should help. But if you're pinpointing one certain thing, then, you know, you want to make sure, like, I know this is my envelope, so I know the sides are going to fold in, you know. Let's see. Yeah, it's upside down, actually. Let me flip it around so that makes more sense maybe to... So, yeah, because, see, I would have done that totally upside down. So, this is going to flip up. This is going to be the front. So, I actually need to move this around to down here. Right? So, maybe... if I'm doing that, let's flip these around too. This is going to be up here, so this is going to be on the outside, so let's do our little squirrel crawling right down through there. And let's do our little frog right here in the center. Right like that. Works for me. And I'm sort of weird because I'm going to Mod Podge this whole thing because I don't want some of it to look differently than the rest. And then, let's see. Okay, so it's going to go up. So this is going to go down. So this needs to be upside down. Yep, yep, yep. And then I'm just going to Modge Podge my little frog on there. Okay. I'm going to wipe this up a little bit so I can slide my envelope up. Okay, so we got the top Modge Podge, so I'm going to go ahead and Modge Podge my sides, even though I'm not putting anything on there. I just like, I like the feel that it gives envelopes, and I like, you know, it all to be the same sort of like, not the same texture, but I think it gives it some durability, especially after you've tea dyed it. You know, you've weakened that paper. Once you tea dye it, you've weakened it some. So I think Modge Podging to me just sort of gives it a little bit of strength. And, you know, if you're putting something on it, then that sort of adds to the character. My hands are getting gunky. I'm starting to drop in glue flakes, which I mean is fine, but I don't like them there. Okay. And I'm getting to the bottom of my Modge Podge jar too, so I'm gonna have to make some more Modge Podge, which is easy to make if you know how to make it DIY. Okay, let me grab this in down here while this top up here is still wet, so we can throw our caterpillar on there. And remember, we're not done with this. We're still going to ink and all that wonderful jazz. Jazz it up and make it look so cute. Okay, so I put it up there. We need to make sure we place him. You know what? I'm going to put him over here since we're, you know, maybe let's put him up here. And that'll sort of put our moth over on the other side. Add a little bit of stuff over there. And then, where did my little squirrel go? There he is. And then my squirrel's going to be here on the fold up, and I want him to sort of look like he's, oh, do I want him traveling along the bottom? Sort of look like he's crawling along the bottom. Maybe towards the end. Don't want him directly on the fold. There we go. Okay, so we have frog covered, so let's go in here and before somebody asks, because I know somebody will probably ask, I do not have a laser jet printer. I have a HP MV 5050. It's just a I think I paid like $70 for it, maybe something like that. It's not a super extravagant printer, and it's just an office jet, so it does not print laser prints. So just so you know, because I know somebody will ask, well, is that laser printed? You know, because I have a desk jet, and a lot of times ink will run, and I think I know some Modge Podge will, you know, especially if you know, do an extremely large amount of water in your Modge Podge. My DIY recipe, well, I mean, you're watching me do it, it's not smearing anything, so now that I say that, it will, but it never has so far, and I've used it for different things. Okay, let me set this one to the side. And they don't take an extremely long amount of time to dry. Set that to the side. Wipe my mat up. At least some of it. Okay, so let's do this one. What do you want to do? Let's do something with the mushroom and the flower here. I really like it. And yes, guys, I am just randomly tearing this. I am, you know, occasionally making sure I don't rip a certain thing. But where do we want to put our mushroom? So, okay, let's get this straightened out real first. This is going to be our bottom. This is our lid. So this is going to flip upside down. So anything on here needs to be upside down. Anything here needs to be, no, anything on here needs to be upside down. Anything on here needs to be upside down, and this needs to be straight. I may have did the other one backwards. I don't think I did. Let's just sort of take this out into the middle like that. I like that like that. Let's see. Let's do this little bitty snakey, because he's sort of cute. Not a big snake person, but let's put him where he's going to crawl right across the bottom in the middle. That's sort of cute. Let's see, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Let's sort of do this rose over here because it's really pretty. Tear, so it's not quite up on the edge. So let's do rose. Maybe we'll do it coming in like that on one of the sides. That'll look cute. Yep. Or let's put this over here coming in since we got that space there. That'll be a little bit there. And then how about we come up here and get Mr. Grasshopper. And we'll put Mr. Grasshopper right there. So you sort of have the snake at the bottom and then the grasshopper on the top. We'll put him up towards the top. How's that? Ooh, you know what though? We could put the little snake over here on the side, like he's sort of crawling up the side. I know, guys. You guys are probably like, what in the world is she taking so long for? Yeah, let's put him like there. So we'll put him right there. Little rose over here. But we have to make it, no. Let's put a little grasshopper right here. And we'll sort of do the rose coming through there. Actually, let's cut this rose off straight, which I never do. But I want it sort of just to be perfect on that line right there on the fold, and I don't want it to show on the front with the mushroom. Yeah, and this will be empty, but it'll have the snake. We'll be crawling up like it's going up one side and down the other. Unless we find something to put on the other side. Or maybe not. Maybe we won't do the flower. Maybe we'll just do the little snake there. And leave the inside, the corners. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want him there, I think. I'm pretty certain about that. A little cricket right there. Or maybe the cricket on the side. But that sort of leaves our top here with nothing to go on it. I sort of want something to go up there. Let's see what else is going on over here. Let's see what we got going over here. Well, I grab this flower right here. Sorry guys, I know I'm gonna put it right here because it's already straight. Along there. And then we do our little snake. Maybe going up the side. Ooh, let's put him going up this side because we have our grasshopper over here, and we'll put him. We'll put him right there. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So, my little snake. Then I'm gonna work on this as I go. You can do it like this if you're worried about your Modge Podge drawing on you. You can do section by section. And, you know, just do a little bit by a little bit. And hopefully you guys can see me okay. I'm sorry if I'm in the way and blocking you guys. Probably put my Modge Podge in a bad place. Go ahead and paint this side over here because it doesn't matter if it dries because nothing's going there. So, and like I said, you can do it section by section. Yeah, I'm sorry to dawdle. You guys are probably like, what in the world is she is taking forever. I'm sorry about that, guys. People running through the house. That's what happens when you get the flu going on. So, there's that. Let's get our bottom glued. Modge Podged. And then I will pause and, like I said, I'll check to see and come back when they're dry. I'll come back when it's dry and we will finish up our envelopes. We will not sew them closed or glue them closed today because we're waiting till we bind to do that. But they will at least be decorated and done, and we will be moving on to our ephemera. Let's see, and where did I moved that over a little bit. I'm sorry if I didn't tell you that, and I'm sorry you see my hand in the way. I was trying to pause my video. I moved it over some because we were putting this here, and I sort of wanted to put it, it sort of fades in the crack there. Okay, so there we go. So I'm adding a little bit more glue over here since it is sticky, guys, so it's glue. Yeah, well, it's glue based. So I'm just trying to do a little bit of, okay, so I will rinse my brush out. Let me put my lid over here and wipe this off. I will let this dry and I will come back and do the next part of the video. We'll fix anything that needs fixed, trim everything up, clean everything up, and we will be done. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and just in case, and everything dried great, just in case anybody wanted to know, remember I have 3 sheets of the tissue paper. I only used 2, and I have, you know, several big scraps left to use on different ephemera, so I have a page left to use, you know, on ephemera as we go through. So let's get started. So I'm gonna take my scissors and trim up closer on the edges. And if something's not glued down right to the edge, we can still, we can hit that up with some art glitter glue, or, you know, maybe a glue stick or something like that. Most of it sticks down though. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just try to get it close because the bigger of an edge you have hanging off, the more of a chance you have of, you know, maybe catching that with, you know, a postcard when you're going in and out of the envelope, or, you know, catching it with your hand as you go in and out of the envelope. I trim it close to the envelope. And I will give you a couple alternatives here when we get these finished of things that you can do. And I'm sorry if this video is going to take a little longer. Obviously, you know, when you're Mod Podging and all that, it takes a little longer. You know, if you let them dry about an hour, you know, they dry pretty good and you're good to go. If they're not completely dry after like an hour or so, you know, if you hit them with a hair dryer or some, or you know, a craft it tool or an embossing gun or, you know, a heat gun of whatever, just be sure if you do that that you're, you know, stay a distance away from it because you will melt. Let's see. This only has a little snake to trim because the rest of it's all in the envelope. And this one's just a hair wet. I can still feel it. It's not enough that we can't work with it, but it's a hair wet. I think this one is just, no, I guess not. Okay, let's trim this one up. And by the time we get done working with the other one, and maybe this one will be done. So I'll go ahead before we, and you can tell, you know, as it dries, it is paper, so, you know, it's going to wrinkle as it dries. You can flatten that back out several different ways. I usually just roll something across mine and it works. You know, if you don't want to do that, you can smash them out, put them inside a book. You know, set a book on them overnight and, you know, they will. You can also take your, I was going to say your deboning tool, but it's not. It's your bone folder and just sort of, it's sort of like you do curling ribbon at Christmas. And it, you know, sort of takes it out, so you can do that too. If you're gonna do that, sometimes it's a lot easier to, well, you have to do the ends first. But if you just lay it down, and sort of rake your bone folder across it like that, you know, that'll flatten it out too. I just sort of roll it a little bit and it seems like it counterbalances how it was rolled. And on the ends, I just hold it with two hands and do it. And most of the time, you know, once you get it done, it does pretty good. And I tend to, like, if I'm going to do 3 envelopes like this, or if I'm doing 3 signatures, and, you know, I'm prepping for a journal, I'll do all my envelopes. Boom, 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 boom. That way you're not, you know, if you got your Modge Podge out, you're cleaning your brush, you know, you're not double doing things. You're, you know, one after another. It sort of saves on time, I guess. And, you know, it's easier to not have to drag everything out and drag it, you know, put everything back in. Normally, yeah, when I'm crafting, I try to keep everything on my desk sort of straightened up. Although, doing series makes it a little bit more difficult. You know, when you're doing a video every day, it adds up. And, you know, you guys in the comments, let me know, you know, do you like doing it every day? Would you prefer for me to do, you know, longer and only do it 3 days a week, you know, and maybe do like hour-long videos 3 days a week? Or would you rather me do, you know, a 2-hour video maybe, but do it, you know, once a week? Or, you know, what works for you? So, I've actually even thought about, you know, doing them live, and just running through the steps. So, you see how that took most of that bend out. I mean, there's still a little bit, and you're going to get some roll no matter what because we tea dyed it. So they don't ever want to lay completely flat. You sort of have to smash them, and once they're completely done and glued together, they'll be in the middle of our journals, then they'll, you know, over time it'll smash. That sounds awful. They won't smash, but they'll flatten. Okay, so let me find my, okay. Let's start with this one. This is the first one we did. Oh, I got a little edge there, see? And you'll notice that, you know, and if you do, just go through and trim it up. Not a big deal. Okay, so this is going to fold. Well, okay, let's start off. This is what I did. Really? That's funny. I grabbed my ink and my inker. I'm going to ink all the way around the outside of my edges. And yes, you are going to be able to tell that this is inked. And I'll show you when I get about halfway around. Now, I got to this corner and see how that stuck up a little bit? I'm going to grab my little glitter glue and just put a little bit there because it is glue and it's Modge Podged on top. It's just, you know, and there may be, you know, a couple little places along the edge where it just, there it went. My glue didn't want to work, you know, and I just sort of, you know, and if you have a little edge, you could just run along the edge. I mean, and you can do that with Modge Podge. It works the same. This glue dries clear, so if you put it underneath, it's not going to hurt anything. The Modge Podge really lets the coloring through, and I'll show you the difference. Let me grab my piece of cardstock. Okay, this is what it looks like on cardstock. There's what it looks like on my tea-dyed envelope. So you can see, you know, the brown difference. Even over that, you can see the difference that the envelope makes underneath of it, where it adds that aged antique look. So it does make a difference if your envelope's tea-dyed or not. Now, if you don't have to do it, but it does make a difference. Okay, so yeah, as I go around, I'll just check my corners, you know, and along my edges. And I sort of go really heavy on the ink on these because, you know, I want it to have that really sort of dark edge. And, you know, as you go through, if you find something you don't like, you know, like, you know, a little tissue paper on the edge or whatever, then you just trim it up and ink it. And I, you know, if you guys that have done journals before, this is probably monotonous to you because you ink. You can only watch so much inking, I guess, before it starts getting boring. Just pretend it's relaxing. Oh, she's inking. Time to take a nap. So, yeah, and then, you know, I'll show you an alternative if you don't have access to tissue paper in just a second. You can see there's just a little spot there, and it's not enough to even do anything. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's just a little bitty section right there that just didn't want to glue. Okay, so that's our outside edges. So you can see, you know, the difference between the inside and where the darkened edges are, where it gives almost like that burn effect. So then I'm gonna use my bone folder and burnish the sides. And just sort of bend it where they haven't been folded now because of the Modge Podge. Same thing with, oh, wrong side. Same thing with my bottom edge. And it's just gonna sort of, and again, we're not gonna glue these down right now because we're gonna use them in our center of our signatures. But I am gonna go around and ink this inside and age it up. And again, inking is your prerogative. You know, if you like stuff inked, then you can ink it. If it's one of those things where you just really don't care about it, then, you know, don't worry about it, then that's up to you. I like mine inked. I think, you know, that darkened edge just adds a little bit more. And then I'll turn it over. I'll do my 2 long edges and then unfold them and do no, let me do this other edge. I may have already, no, I didn't do it on this side. Every once in a while you have to double check. Okay, then I'm gonna grab my little makeup brush that I use for my stenciling over here, run it around on my ink pad, ink it up really good, and I just sort of want to ink out into some of the corners, just sort of darken areas. And again, you know, this is something you don't have to do. This is something I choose to do. And like earlier where that ripped here and even on the top, I'm going to use that to my advantage, because where that's sort of slightly bumpy, where it adhered, you know, I'm going to make sure I ink there so it darkens it up. And again, over here, because that's going to just add a little texture to it, because that crack is going to darken up too, like that, and it almost looks like it's an old, it just sort of gives it a 2-dimensional look. So there's our completed envelope, and that's what it's gonna look like on the inside. So it turned out really good, and that's just that tissue paper we had. So let me set that to the side. Let me try to find which one's the driest. This one's the driest. Okay, so again, grab our bone folder, and this one I may have to go the other way. Yeah, and if it goes one way and it won't do it, then just go the other way. It just sort of depends on which direction it's curling to. Okay, and if this video gets too long, I'll try to edit it and make it into, or I'll just do it as one. And if you want, you know, if you're watching, you know, with the premiere, then it'll be long and you can just hang out as long as you can. And, you know, if you don't get there, then that's fine too. You know, you can catch it in the replay. This one just wants to keep curling up. Now this one doesn't have, it's not covered everywhere. So, you know, you're really going to see a difference in the inking on the different edges. And like this side here, I didn't actually technically have to ink because it's inside the envelope. But I have it. I want to And you know, you may have a spot you want to go back and ink a little heavier on, or ink really heavy on. Okay, so it's still on the curl pretty good. Let me fold my sides in, burnish them down really good. Listen and burnish them down. I was trying to go, what, my frog's upside down? I didn't do that. Okay. Then again, ink up on my edges. I'm trying to speed things up. Sometimes speeding things up makes them worse. But I don't like keeping you guys on here all night. I know you have other crafters you want to watch and other things that you want to do. And I do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Appreciating everybody that's liked and commented and subscribed. You know, and remember to do that, because it does help. It helps the videos get spread. Which, I mean, I think we're almost at 700, maybe like 780 something, I don't know, is what we were when I looked earlier. So this is actually Sunday night for me. So, okay. So, this is what this is going to look like from the front, the little pillar, and from the back there's a little frog, there's a little snail, and there's actually a little butterfly wing over here. Just sort of, you know, brings that 3 in. Now I am going to blend this some, and I really want to come in here where it's sort of lighter, and I really want to age it like it's been like sort of dragged through the mail system, if that makes sense. It's like a darker corner like that. I really like that, and I knew that would do that because of all the wrinkles down there. So, and again up in here like that, sort of age it a little bit where there isn't anything, so it doesn't look as you can see that's going to pull out every little crease and every little wrinkle in there. So it sort of just ages it. I think I'm going to put a little bit right here too, in this corner, on the front and the bottom. Sort of continues onto the back. Okay, so keep folding this one wrong. There's our front, and there's our back with our little frog and our little snail. So I really like the way that turned out. And as you can tell, these two, they don't look anything alike at all. You cannot tell you use the same collage sheet at all. So let's move on to the next one. Let me put my topper stopper in there. Okay, let's get this one done. I know you guys are probably ready to go. Some people have things to do on a work week on Monday, or this will actually be Tuesday, I believe. This will be Tuesday. So people have to get up and go to work. So, and I thank everybody for watching. Yeah, my mom is watching. Well, I don't know if she's watching exactly today, but my mom tunes in and watches. So she is out there. So hi, Mom, if you're listening. She'll get tickled with that, I'm sure. But my dad celebrated his birthday, his 70th birthday today. And my mom will celebrate her 66th this next week. So happy birthday to both of them. If you haven't joined the Facebook group or anything, in the link, the description's in the link, or the link is in the description. Below we actually have a birthday list. You can put your birthday on there and all that. I really should start looking, I look at it, but I'm saying I should look at it every day and do a shout out to you on your birthday. If it's your birthday, that would be really neat. I might start doing that. You know what? I didn't do the outside edge of this. I jumped straight into the inside. Let me just go flat by flat then. We'll just move our way around. And again, I mean, if you swatches or anything like that, paint or anything like that, you can do all that before you Modge Podge, let it dry, and then, you know, put your tissue paper over top of it, just like you do a napkin. And like I said, you can do napkins, and I haven't tried it, and I should. I'm not sure. I wonder if, well, I'm not going to tell you because I may try it. I'm going to see if it'll work. If it does, I'll let you know. I did the outside. I don't have to do this side because it gets glued. Okay, so let's see, do we ink? Yep, that's an ink. Doing this backwards and I got myself. Sorry about the interruptions and stuff today. It's Sunday, so I have my husband and kids and everybody coming and going, and we've had this horrid flu going around that everybody's got. So they come and go more often than even they normally do. Because you know how grown men are when they get sick. No, just, well, you know, they are, but some of them, not all of them. But between the kids and my husband, I got sick and was down a couple days. But okay, so we got it inked around all the way. Let's get our brush and let's do this one a little different. Hold on a second. Let me grab my stencil. What sort of stencil over here where there's nothing? How is that? Let's I like finding my one little flower in here. I like having the little flower on there, I think. Okay. This will be and I grunge this up, and I'm actually going to go over. I'm actually going to go down onto this flap over here too, just a little bit. Well, let's go over on this one too. We'll just do that whole entire half, and up here on the top, right here, where as far as it goes in. So see, I even stenciled over top, and then just to even it out, let's come over here and do a little stenciling on this side. Maybe not as dark and as much, but do a little bit in this. I'm actually going to this little bitty bit right here. Yeah, so see, you got the really dark part, which I like. That, and you just have stenciling over here, so When we close our envelope up, this is what the back of it looks like with the stenciling. See, that looks really great. I love that. And then, you know, we've got the little bits and bobs on the back that show through. So, let me put everything out of the way and lay our envelopes out here so you can see. Let me get rid of this. My glass plate. So, roll them out so they fit really good. I'm not going to. Grab my paper clips here. I love these paper clips. I don't really want a paper clip either. You know what? Let me wash the tape down. And just throw a little washing on the back of them, that'll work on it. There's that one. Just so they lay sort of flat so we can sort of see what they look like. I guess I should have put washi on the inside of that so it would have been probably a little essential like that to hold it down. You guys know what they look like. And that'll hold them down, and then I can put a book on them. And so by tomorrow they'll be all flattened and ready and good to go. Oh, every once in a while you can washi that's not too great. This doesn't stick and it doesn't want to come off the roll half the time, so it's perfect for this. Okay, so there's all three of our versions. Now, alternatives. I will tell you a few alternatives. Let me pull here. I know you guys have heard me talk about Donna at Junk Journal Ideas. Let me see what I did with my paper. If I turn it upside down, hold on just a second. I have it here somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. Well, I had it and I put it up so I wouldn't lose it and lost it. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, she has, it doesn't make me angry though because I had that specifically to show you. Huh. I had it in my pile. Unless I left it in the other room, which I may have done. I probably did. Oh, no, I put it over here when I had my magazine. She has a free printable on her Facebook, so you need to go, or on her Facebook. It's on her Facebook page. It's on her YouTube channel too. If you have not subscribed to her YouTube channel, you are missing out. I'm telling you, she's really good. And it's on her YouTube and everything else, and it's linked through her website, and you can get a free downloadable for a weekly budget envelope. You can print it out on any kind of paper you want. I just printed mine out on white to show you guys. So weekly budget, description, amount, paid, balance, all these cute little things with directions exactly how to make it. If you do not have tissue paper, you can print it out on here and then, you know, take this, cut it out so you have a template and, you know, put it on there and trace it if you want to. And that way you have all, you know, all your extra over here you can use for ephemera. Or you can do what I did, and I mean, I just lost this much here. I printed my page out, then I loaded my page back through my printer again, and I ran it through. And so, let me move this out of the way. Over here, let me grab my ruler. my bone folder. Let me see if I can score it real fast, and I'll show you guys. I'm just going to score it with my bone folder here. And there's really precise directions on how to do it. I mean, she's amazing. So yeah, you know, check it out because it is well worth it. Not just for the freebie, which is awesome because, you know, we all like freebies, but also because her directions are just, I mean, she is precise. I mean, her tutorials and everything are just so clean. She is the opposite of me. You know, she's just very precise. So I printed it out, and then you score it. I'm not going to go through the inking or all that. I just wanted to sort of show you that it actually does. You could, and you know, that glues down just like an envelope. That folds down, and you have like a weekly budget. You know, ink it up. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit thinner, but it does hold American money and Australian money. So, you know, if you're carrying a journal with you every day to work and, you know, you want to throw some cash in there in case, you know, whatever, you're going to the park with your kids and you want ice cream money or whatever, you know, you can throw some money in there and it fits. So if you do not have access to tissue paper, you know, it does work for that too. So I wanted to tell that. And Donna, shout out to Donna. Go over there, subscribe to her channel. She's awesome. Her Facebook group is awesome. Great people, great people. I mean, other than mine, no, there's a lot of groups out there and a lot of YouTube channels. You know, I try to give a shout out to, you know, the ones that really I've learned a lot from, just, you know, from their methods and the way that they do anything. And she is one of them that I watch her channel. She's pretty good. And if you want to learn how to stencil, do not pay attention to what I do. Go watch her stenciling video. Is awesome. It is just great. So, you know, there's an option for your envelope too. So, and I'm not going to mess with inking that up or whatever, but I just wanted to show you that there is other options out there if you do not have access to tissue paper. And you don't have to use cardstock. You could use, you know, the 24-pound paper. You could use the regular copy paper. You know, you could definitely use the vellum. You could use the onion skin paper. So, I mean, you do have options out there, but these are our 3 envelopes for the inside of a journal, and I love the way they come out. So let's put them back in, and then I will let you guys go. So let's do this one because it's got the pink on the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this tape off just in case, because I'm scared if I leave it on there that it's gonna stick and then I'll be, so, you know, we've got our little insert in there. And we have our envelope. This is going to be so cute in here. So, see, I'm glad we didn't do a whole lot besides the stenciling, because this is really going to, you know, bring some life to that page right there. So, there's that one. So, that one is done. And this one has blue, but it's got some yellow in it, and it's got the lemon on the front, so let's go with this one. Okay. Let me peel the tape off. I just don't want that to stick, and then, you know, and not work on my journal, or rip it or something, and I have to start over. I don't like that. So, and see, that's got the blue on the back, it's got the yellow on the front, which really, I like the lemon on the front, so it sort of goes. So, there's that. Fold that in. That's going to go in here and get sewed in the center. So, I mean, awesome. So, there's that one. And then this one that's got the pears on the front, I actually wanted to do the mushroom with. So, let me get the washi off and get to the middle and get the, oh, that's the one we already did. Oh my. Doing things backwards. Can't afford to do things backwards. Then, let's see. Where is my center? Oh, there we are. And what do you know? Pink flower and pink flowers. It was almost like it was meant to be, huh? And I didn't plan that out until I just grabbed it. So, you know, we've got all this in the back. cute, cute, cute. And this is gonna look great in here. That's gonna, and look how that stencil just blends in. And, you know, we don't have any insects on there other than the little snake, which, oops, I did it backwards. Other than the little snake and the little cricket, but it's not clashing, you know, with any of these right here. So, perfect. So, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip my signatures. You know, let me clip it this way. So it sort of holds that envelope down. And I will go ahead when and I love these because they bend and everything else, and you can just, you know, you can just bend them back in. So, not a hassle. And then put that on there. So, all of our signatures are ready to go, and I will put these under books tonight. So when I come back, tomorrow they will be all nice and flat, and my envelopes will hopefully be flattened. And if not, I will flatten them by books by themselves. So again, there we go, buddy. We are getting thicker. So, okay, I am going to let you go for today. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell if you want to know. All the links are below. Cards to the tutorial series will be up above. Links to all the tutorials and all the things that I referenced will be on there. You know, Donna's envelope for junk journal ideas, the tissue paper tutorial, all of those will be on there. So you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time. Bye.